Hey there, my friend. So, let's dive right into something that's been causing a stir among Cowboys fans, and trust me, it's worth talking about: Micah Parsons and his recent comments. Now, if you're a die-hard Cowboys fan, you've probably heard about the subtle message he sent to the front office. And honestly, when someone like Micah Parsons speaks, you better believe the whole team and the fans are listening. I mean, let's not forget, this is a guy who's quickly become one of the best in the league, and his opinion carries some serious weight. But what exactly did Micah say? Well, it wasn't anything too loud or direct, but it was clear. He's made it known that the team needs to make a move, especially when it comes to making sure they stay competitive. And let's be real here, this isn't the first time we've seen these hints come from key players. The Cowboys are in a position where they need to show they're serious about winning. But does the front office actually get the message? And I gotta ask, what do you think about all this? Are you on Micah's side, or do you feel like the front office is doing just fine? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because we'd love to hear what you think. But before we go further, let's take a step back and look at what's really behind Micah's comments. Is it just frustration, or is there a deeper issue brewing? Stay with me, because we're about to explore that in the next chapter. And hey, if you're enjoying the conversation so far, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next chapter. I mean, trust me, you won't want to miss it. Do you think Micah Parsons' comments are a wake-up call to the Cowboys front office? Yes or no? Vote now in the poll. Alright, my friend, now that we've set the stage with Micah's subtle message, let's dig deeper. What's really behind all this? Is Micah simply venting his frustration, or is there something bigger going on that we're not seeing? No, it's easy to think that Micah's just another player getting frustrated with the usual ups and downs of the season. But honestly, I think there's more to it. Micah Parsons is not just any player. He's a leader on that defense, and he's been putting in the work year after year. So when he speaks, it's not just a random comment, it's a statement about the bigger picture. Think about it, this team has had its share of highs and lows, and it's been a while since the Cowboys have truly contended. For the big one, every season feels like it's the year they're going to break through, and yet, they haven't. Could Micah be seeing the same thing that many of us have noticed over the years? Some decisions that just don't add up, and moves that leave you scratching your head? What makes it worse is that we've seen this before: big talent without the results. It's a pattern, and Micah's frustration could be a reflection of the sense that the team isn't living up to its potential. You can't help but wonder, is it time for a change? But here's the real question: how much longer will the front office sit back and let these messages slip through the cracks? We're at a point where, as fans, we can only hope they're paying attention to what's going on. So tell me, do you think the Cowboys front office is really listening to players like Micah? Or do you feel like they're stuck in their own bubble, making moves without considering the bigger picture? Poll: do you think the Cowboys front office is doing enough to build a championship team? Yes or no? Let's see where you stand. Vote now. And trust me, this conversation is far from over. We're about to take a look at how Micah's comments tie into bigger team dynamics and whether the Cowboys front office is ready to respond. So stay tuned, because you won't want to miss what's coming next. So we've explored Micah's frustration, but there's another side to this that we can't ignore: Micah Parsons' influence on the team. When he speaks, it's not just a message for the front office, it's a message to his teammates. His leadership, his passion, and his drive, they all ripple through that locker room. Now, let's be real. Micah is one of the best players in the NFL right now, and he's set an example of what it takes to be elite. But when your leader shows signs of frustration, it's hard to ignore. Imagine how the rest of the defense feels right now. The guy leading them is looking around, questioning things, and that's going to have an impact. Do you think Micah's comments are causing a shift in the locker room? Could this be sparking a sense of urgency, or is it just adding fuel to the fire of frustration? One thing's for sure, Micah's leadership is undeniable. And when someone with his talent and drive is speaking out, you can bet his teammates are listening. But here's the kicker, if Micah's feeling this way, what does that say about the team's collective morale? Are we seeing cracks in the foundation, or is this just a momentary outburst? I'm sure you're wondering the same thing. Let's take a step back. What do you think the Cowboys need to do to bring back that spark? Is it a coaching change, new leadership, or just a better approach to the team dynamic? Question for you, do you think Micah's frustration is affecting the rest of the team? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear from you. Now, we've talked a lot about Micah's frustration and the impact it's having on the locker room, but let's shift gears for a second. The real question is, what is the front office going to do about it? Micah Parsons, as we've seen, isn't the type to hold back his thoughts. He's an emotional leader, and when he feels something's wrong, he makes sure everyone knows. But here's the catch, Jerry Jones and the Cowboys front office have a history of, let's say, not always reacting the way we'd like them to. Now, you might be asking yourself, will Jerry and the front office actually listen? Because, let's face it, the Cowboys have always had a bit of a reputation for doing their own thing. But if there's one thing we know about Jerry, it's that he's got a keen eye on his star players. He understands how important it is to keep guys like Micah happy on and off the field. So does that mean a drastic change is coming? Let me throw a question at you. Do you think the Cowboys front office has the guts to make a big decision based on Micah's comments? I mean, do they have the courage to step up, make a tough call, and either shift the coaching staff or change something major to fix this? Or is it just another example of the Cowboys front office sitting on their hands, waiting for the storm to pass? Poll time. Do you think the Cowboys should make a coaching change to keep Micah Parsons happy? Or do you think the front office should stand pat and trust the current leadership? Vote in the poll right here, and let's see where we stand. Regardless of where you stand, one thing is clear, Micah is not going to sit idly by if things don't change soon. His future with the Cowboys is tied to how they respond to this frustration. So will they finally listen, or will they let the pressure of this situation slip away? In the next chapter, we're going to talk about the future of the Cowboys specifically, whether they have the potential to turn things around, or if they're just stuck in this never-ending cycle of frustration. Alright, now that we've covered Micah Parsons, frustration, and the front office possible response, let's talk about the bigger picture, the future of the Cowboys. If you're a fan, you're probably asking, where do we go from here? The team's current trajectory, the coaching issues, and the question marks over the roster, how do we move forward from all of this? One thing is for sure, the Cowboys have the talent to be contenders. We've seen it, and we know it's there. But talent alone isn't enough to get to the top. It takes a well-oiled machine, and that starts with leadership. Will Jerry Jones finally take the reins and make the hard decisions? Or will the Cowboys continue to drift, always just shy of greatness? Here's the question that's on everyone's mind. Do you think the Cowboys can still win it all with the current setup? Or is it time to hit the reset button and make the tough choices to build a winning future? Poll time. What's your take? Do you think the Cowboys have what it takes to win a Super Bowl this season, or do you feel like it's time for a bigger shakeup? Drop your votes in the poll and let's hear what you think. The next few months are going to be crucial for the Cowboys. They can either make a bold move and take control of their destiny, or they can continue down the same frustrating path. It all comes down to what Jerry Jones and the front office do now. Whatever happens, you and I both know that we'll be watching closely and hoping for the best. So to wrap things up, will Micah's frustrations lead to change? Will the front office step up and make the tough calls? Only time will tell, but one thing is for certain, the Cowboys have a choice to make, and we're all waiting to see which direction they take.